this is Tim Pierce. Steve Stine came over here and did that in a first take. Steve's a great teacher and a great guitar player. There's another piece of this video content on his channel. You should check it out. We did 2 of them, one for me and one for him. And Steve explained it really well. It's really simple. If you play in the key of A major over a D chord and an E chord, and you use the D and E chord tones, you end up with this really wicked Lydian kind of modality it's so fun to play over. And it reminded both of us of some of the early Satriani stuff that we loved so much. Episode 144 in the Masterclass is a basic lesson covering this concept also. The jam track we're playing over is downloadable and grabbable. Just take the 14-day free trial and take it. Click the link below for that. Also below are Steve Stine's links. But right now, let's get started and let's get busy breaking down Steve's solo. So Steve, that was an awesome solo. That was your first take.
Yes,
you got it? You did
hopefully it all turned out okay.
It did. I heard it. My head was going up and down.
Lydian is the 4th degree of major, right? So if you're in A major, that means you're emphasizing the D chord.
Gotcha.
Okay? And there's so many different ways to approach this, but what I try and explain to people is, if you want Lydian, for instance, what you're going to do is, and again, I know there's so many approaches to this, but my approach would be, is if you can see A major, it's half the battle. So,
I agree.
Okay.
That's all you have to see. You see the imprint of A major, and then you find places to land that reflect the D tonality.
That's it. That's kind of the sound that I'm looking for that makes that sort of Lydian. So I'll use kind of the way I think about this is the D chord would have D, F sharp, and A, right? But then if I look at the A major chord imprinted on top of that, I've got A, C sharp, and E, right? Which makes the major 7th and the 9th of the D chord, if that makes sense.
It does.
So they're beautiful sounds. So
yeah.
I can also look at that A major arpeggio across the fretboard along with that D major, and I get some really great sounds. And then also thinking about that raised 4th.
Well, and the raised 4th is where that beautiful tension is. You can hang there and go, it's waiting for you to resolve it. And you know what it reminds me of? Did you love Surfing with the Alien when it came out?
Yes,
and your solo, I want to talk about your solo next because your solo, it triggered some of the Surfing with the Alien joy that I remember so much. What do you say we just listen to a bit of your solo?
Okay, that'd be great, because I want to hear all the things I did wrong.
I'm going to do the playback. So. Yeah, let me do the playback. Stop me when you want to talk about it, okay? Even if that's in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to stop too.
Okay, yeah, so what... Yeah, let's just talk about, like, the fact that when you're soloing, okay, and our approaches are going to be so different, everybody's approach is, but you're either playing in time or you're playing over the time, right? So whenever you're playing, like, with that tempo, you've got that sort of thing. Yes. And then there's this, like, what I always call rolling over the hill. Like, you're climbing the hill, and then all of a sudden you get to the top, you know, you're on a bike or something, and you come over, and it just takes off.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from Satriani, were these things that kind of just roll over, and I love that kind of sound. So it's like trying to lock into the groove, and then all of a sudden you're sort of free over the top.
Can I play? Like that, right?
Yeah, totally like that. That's right.
Yeah.
And so my playing, I try and every situation is different. Some songs you can't really do that with, but this one just feels really nice for being able to kind of get quirky like that.
Yeah, you can play in time. And then you can abandon time, and what I do is I just try and play as fast as I can.
So when you play, you know, I've got patterns like that too, that you're trying to play, and you're just trying to get up that hill, right? Or down the hill, whichever way you're going.
Dude, that's so fast.
Yeah, it's so fun, man.
No, it's fast. Play me that ascending thing again.
You know, like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and or like stuff like going this direction. I'm still trying to warm up.
That's kind of a 3-note per string thing. I've been reading a lot about that later, and that's a really good thing to remember with speed. And you actually, in order to ascend, you have to go backwards part of the time. Because you want to rise up and come down and rise up and come down.
So
otherwise, you would get up the neck and be done in 5 seconds.
That's right. So that's where you get these patterns. you know, where you kind of step back and then you keep going. Yeah.
Well, let's listen to a little more. Okay. Otherwise, we'll spend a half hour just talking about this first minute. Okay, so then you went melodic. So super speedy, and then you pull back and you play melody. That's really good.
And for me, I was trying to explain to people, like, my favorite, you and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
My favorite guitar players are those ones that will establish themselves melodically, and then they'll, like, kick in the behind, and then they'll come back and do it again.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of playing. Me
too. You want to balance the flash and the bravado with, you know, elegant melodies if you can. That's so great. It's like that's the Satriani thing. Where were you? There you go.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. We have to dive in and learn what you just did.
This is a whole other topic of conversation you and I will get into sometime, but have you ever played something and then you have to go back and learn what you did? You're like, I have no idea what I did.
Well, speed is balanced by, it's great when it's sporadic because then it's like a, this unexpected burst, basically. And that's something I really like. That was like a triplet.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, then it comes down the hill. Right?
Chord shape.
Yeah.
Chord shape.
That's right.
I see the A right there. A major over D. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, and palm muting.
Yeah, it makes things stand out, right?
You're using everything.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Check that out. I'm going to solo that. Oh, sweep picking.
Yeah.
And that's something I don't really have in my vocabulary. But that was a great
sweep. And I'm not an avid big sweep picker. They tend to be smaller, you know.
I just did it though. I can actually do 3 notes.
There you go.
I guess that's what you do there too.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice. I should do more of that. Cool. Oh. I love that. Whatever that was.
Yeah. I'm listening to it going, well, I should have played that a little cleaner, but I'll accept it.
So the band just landed on a big tonic A. So in the composition, because I kind of made this for teaching purposes, I wanted there to be a moment where everything shifted to the A. So that's the tonic, that's the downbeat. You responded in a great way by going. Tell me how to explain that.
Well, yeah, and for me, I guess I was expecting a D coming, and then the A came, so I resolved it back.
Oh, okay, so this is the gold here. This is what happens a lot. Because this was a first take on a piece of music you did not know.
Yeah.
The band went to A, and you turned what might have been a mistake or just a territory that you didn't know into a melody.
Right.
Because you thought we were going to be on D, you landed on the A. And that's something that I do all the time, too. You can cover, if you don't know where you are, you can cover it by like reverse engineering a melody. And that's exactly what you just did.
And a lot of people will look at it as a mistake, but in reality, in our line of work, you do it all the time. Like, you've got to find a way, if there's a dip somewhere, you've got to find a way of coming back out of that.
And I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time too.
Yeah.
Especially when you're jamming and you don't know the song.
Yeah, right.
It sounds like you meant to do it.
Yeah,
awesome, Steve.